think no matter what, this is always going to be a male-dominated field. I do think that there are certain personality characteristics that a lot of women just they're not interested. Still to this day, I think we're socialized very differently. This idea of confrontation, this, that, and the other thing, and the other thing too that's interesting that I've come across, and this is just a thought that I have. Women earn college degrees more than men in this country, statistically, as it is right now. And I do think that law enforcement by women, and just from conversations I've had and stuff, they kind of don't consider it, B, never thought of it, or C, look at it as this kind of blue collar job, which I think it was at one time. I think it was, you could have called it a blue collar job. But today, with the level of intelligence on so many different horizons that you need to possess, you need the emotional intelligence, communication skills, you need to be able to deal with mental health crises, you need to be able to be physically fit and have knowledge of your kinesthetics in your body and how physics comes into play when you're trying to use force. You need to be able to handle a weapon, you need to be able to I can't think of another job, I always say this, where you have to wear so many different hats. But and I think I did read an article, somebody finally kind of approached this idea that policing needs to kind of be rebranded now, because it's no longer this oh, that's beneath me, that's a blue collar profession. It's actually social work, behavioral sciences, and all these things on steroids, right? Because you have to just be this all-encompassing, and I'm amazed. Even as I'm sitting here thinking about this, I'm so amazed and impressed by police officers who are in the field, 24/7. I'm like, you people are so smart. You can critically think on a dime. You get yourself and the people that you're serving out of situations or into better situations, and it's just this constant thing. And it's I dare you to find a profession that's more. You need to know a little bit about everything, really. Really everything from car trouble to who, what resources can I connect this person with? So it's almost the profession needs a rebranding. And I think that would probably attract more women. And, we know there's tons of studies on recruitment materials and things like that. But if you kind of represent the career for what it really is, that's your best recruitment tool, because what the career really is we know Jim Dudley and we did all this research on Gen Z officers and the challenges and stuff about recruiting them and that sort of thing. But what we know about Gen Z from our research is that they want to make a difference. They want to help. They want to problem solve. They want to make their world a better place. And it's they just don't see policing as an avenue to do it because we're not selling it like that. So I really do think that in the coming times, and one of the things we talk about too is just you should go to audiences where you would, of course, we're always going to get the guys who wanted to be cops since they were kids. We're always going to get them. The ones that want to jump out of planes and rappel down buildings and be on the SWAT team, got them, no problem, right? We're always going to get those guys. But, you go to alternative, go to a Girl Scout troop, go to a college class, and because again, it's no one ever told me hey, have you ever thought about policing? If they had, I don't know, I might have arrived at it sooner, but if we say, hey, ladies, this is a job where you're telling me you're a psychology major, cool. Do you have plans to get a PhD and go into clinical practice? What's your plans for that? Because here's this career, and you can use that all day, every day. That's the big part of your job, So I don't know. I almost think that if we can rebrand it a little bit and get over some of those barriers. And the same thing with the physical fitness, right? You got to skin the cat differently. I have all these tricks. A lot of the females here, we're still on the Cooper physical fitness standards, where it's the run, push up, sit up. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times the women will fail the push ups and the guys will fail the sit ups. Running, you're just running. You just have to do it. But, women oftentimes lack that upper body or core strength. And, we show them all kinds of tricks. You start, on your knees, or you start with one of those big exercise balls or whatever the case might be. Just kind of demystifying a little bit for them. And, this isn't your, grandfather's police job anymore. Well, first and foremost, I think the communication skills, like hands down. Just if you can master communication skills and you can master like understanding people's motivations and how to speak to their motivations, it's almost like sales in a way, really. I think if you can use those types of skills to not only deal with rank and file officers, fellow command staff, the public, citizens, politicians, the media. I mean, it's a full plate now. I think our police, people who get promoted, and obviously women included here, they really have their work cut out for them, because there again, you have to be a publicist, you have to be, a communications officer, you have to know all these things and have all these skill sets. So first and foremost, communication, especially in a world where, people are starved for it, like this lack of being able to really, obviously, with our devices, our cell phones, people being behind computers all the time, this, they call it the loneliness epidemic, right? Where you've got, you could have 3,000 friends on social media, but you don't really have any friends, because you're not out there. But people who can be authentic and genuine and excellent communicators, I think that is huge for female officers, especially to demonstrate. And I think a lot of women are very good at it. They're very skilled at it. Other things, just like a level of commitment and dedication to the agency, something that I always tell the recruits and people that I've field trained is, what, you don't have to do a whole lot to set yourself apart, not just in this profession, but in life. Like if you can maintain a positive attitude, and I think it shocks people. I think they just don't even know what to do with it. You keep that good attitude, you keep the momentum, and you become like formidable. Like you're like, nothing's gonna make me like lose my poise, and that's extremely difficult in this career field for sure. But if you can do it like 95% of the time, that's wonderful. And I would say, back with the communication skills, just your willingness to listen and not like jump to conclusions, like being willing to listen to the rank and file, being willing to listen to the public, reserving your take on things until you have all of the information. I had a great field training officer mentor who told me, save your freakouts. The other thing that kind of goes along with that is, just from day one, I tell all the young female officers this too, act like the person, like you want to be chief here, you want to be this, act like that person. How do you want to see that, develop in your agency? What kind of leadership do you want to, what kind of leader do you want to be? And if you commit yourself and you can keep your attitude and your direction and your poise and your vision in check, save your freakouts, I think you can really go far, because you've just become dependable, predictable, and you make yourself indispensable. You're willing to do the work.